what is the most valuable insight about leadership that your experience has taught you? Challenges today in balancing of organizational priorities and well-being. How leaders must adapt to remain effective and thrive in the future. Hey, welcome back to my PodTalk, Voice Inside You and in Life. I'm Ashwini J from Bengaluru. Leadership skill can be innate. Some people develop it through the experience, some may not possess it at all. So it depends. Everybody's path is different, so that's okay. But as when we are elevating and stepping a ladder in a career, we need to develop the leadership skills. Otherwise, it would be very challenge to manage or to understand the people in your team. See, imagine you walk into a room, you not carry your position or title. So you will just bring that presence, being kind and curiosity, the leadership, that compassionate. So that leadership presence makes people feel valued, supported, heard, appreciated, and connected. That kind of presence makes people say, I love working here. Or you will hear something like, I'm thriving in my work. That's because I enjoy working this kind of culture. So people, we hear such feedbacks, especially from employees, because that's a kind of leadership, the style and the culture they drive in an organization. When we talk about this leaderships, there are nearly about 12 leadership styles, and every leader carry the different styles for their convenient or for their personality or as per their organization. But effective leaders often blend elements in multiple styles as per their team's suitability and context from an environment. See, this episode 2 is more about on leadership through a human lens. So this is not just an position or title about. So it's more of the deeply human connection. When we talk about empathy over ego, or when we talk about the presence over pressure, so the future is not just the technology driven. It's more about the human touch. The human connection is as much as important as the technology in a workplace. As a leader, when we ask ourselves, am I being compassionate enough? And also, can I drive the key results? See, without being compassionate, we cannot drive results. Because a leader, when he or she is compassionate with the team members, it comforts them and it encourages them to be more open, to be more of effective and build that bonding and build that trust and transparency. When you be very empathetic in your communication with your team members, that encourages them to thrive. And when a leader, all those, that effective leadership skills reflects in action that hits so positive, they sustain and work in a long term with you and with organization. So, and it will be much easier for you to retain your top talents in your team. So, see, there are many pros and merits when we carry that so positive leadership culture, right? So yes, in the recent Harvard Business Review report, highlights that 50% of senior leaders, acknowledge their organization limitations to bring that essential leadership development skills. This is what we are talking about today, and especially this people-centric approach, the people's strategies and initiatives, how that empowers and how that helps for the better leadership, for tomorrow. This episode of whole all about, as I said, leadership through a human lens, and there are certain few objective points that we unpack. One is, what does it truly mean that authentic leadership? And there are a few key insights from the leader through the experience, and what one leader recommend or says to other leaders who facing the challenges in balancing of organizational priorities and employees well-being, and how leaders must adapt to remain effective and thrive in future as when technology and culture evolve. So this is what we're going to dive into this conversation with my special guest today. And this is one of my favorite discussion and favorite topic too about the leaderships. So let's hear it out, today in this conversation with my special guest, Ms. Malini Lakshman. Okay, so I would love to welcome my today's special guest, Ms. Malini Lakshman, who is a voice of a leader, also redefine the success beyond the roles. She's someone, a seasoned HR professional with more than 2 decades of experience in the IT, CRO, and a life sciences company with strong portfolio of solution and services. Ms. Malini currently working as a CHRO at Agati Clinical Informatics Private Limited. It's a global life sciences services company. With a postgraduate diploma in personal management and investor relations, she has led HR transformations in both national and multinational firms. She's known for aligning people strategy initiatives and human capital strategies, governance mechanisms, and with business goals across geographies. Previously, she's worked in leadership positions at renowned organizations like Syngene International, IQVIA, and Health Assist. I love to talk about a couple of more points about Miss Malini here. One is she has journeyed from building a HR in a startup to leading global teams, and she's guiding her organizations to be on the top 25 great place to work rankings 3 years in a row. Another point is she's very thoughtful and generous and amazing leader too. So I would love to welcome her on my product show on this episode 2, Leadership Through a Human Lens, from her leading impactful leadership programs to addressing real world challenges with empathy and authenticity. So let's welcome her. Hey, Ms. Malini, thank you so much for accepting my invite, and I'm glad having you here on my PodTalk episode 2.
Thank you, Ashwini. I'm really happy to be part of this PodTalk series and your initiative on really throwing lights on some very important topics we talk about today. So I think I am also very happy to be part of this session.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So I think on the first kick-starting of the conversations on the authentic leadership. So what do you think, what in your opinion, in your point of view, what does it truly mean that authentic leadership? How does it reflect it?
Sure. Very important question, as we all deal with leadership on everyday basis. But to me, leadership means the ability to inspire, guide, and influence others around you to help them achieve their goals. And authentic leadership would be to really lead with honesty and a strong sense of personal values. It needs to have some meaning relationships, which is built on trust, transparency, values, and being very genuine, right? So it's all about acknowledging our own strengths, our own weaknesses, and being very transparent and listening openly to others. So to me, authentic leadership is the core essence of leadership. And it's something that everybody should start reflecting to be a leader within themselves and then move to be leading the others.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Amazing response on this point. The leaders, how they make others feel safe and understood, and that comfort and that supportive gesture and the patterns. I think that matters a lot. Yes. I have one more interesting question here. That what is the most valuable insight about leadership that your experience has taught you?
Sure. I think before even answering to that question, I would like to quote something that was mentioned about by Jack Welch. It says, before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. But when you become a leader, success is all about growing others. So what is that valuable insight when you talk about it? It is about envisioning the future based on evidences and preparing for the next, right? The leadership a journey takes us through various phases, and each phase is something that we need to reflect upon. Okay? So it starts with discovering ourselves. Like I mentioned in my previous question, it is very important that we need to self-reflect ourselves. It talks about before you can lead others, you must first learn to lead yourself. So are you that person who can lead yourself and the others? Because this is all built on values, purposes, and your strengths. Once you reflect, then we need to move where saying we are talking about taking the initiative of or being responsible and accountable. That's something that is very key, just not as a leader, but as a person, right? So it is very important that leadership is granted. It's earned often by doing the hard things no one asked you to do, right? That's a true example of leadership thing. Nobody comes and tells you what you do, but you need to lead it without being told. That's the true trait of leadership. And then we move to the aspect where we try to build those important traits in and around the people we have, right? Our own teams, our own peers, our own colleagues. So building that trust and creating an environment where others believe that that's a true platform that they could also learn and grow.
Right.
So that's one of the impact, insight that I would talk about. And creating a vision. Creating the vision not in our eyes, but in the eyes of the team that is you are leading, right? Everybody needs to see the bigger picture. That's where they say a manager and a leader. Manager executes the job, but a leader truly gives the entire true picture to the individuals and then starts moving, saying that, yes, this is where your agenda or your motto is built. And then we start achieving those goals. And enabling your teams. Very important where we talk about saying just not talking about it, but also doing what you really believe in it. And you need to create a path where people are inspired. So those are important steps of being a true leadership trait. Right. And I certainly, if I want to quote this example in my own experience where we talk about leadership. And in one of my previous organization, the global HR leader, very highly respected professional. And till date, I am inspired and he does mentor me many a times. This person once shared during a leadership forum that 40% of my annual goals are not about what I achieve, but how I support and enable my team across the globe. Well, this is a lot to talk about and speaks volumes, right? Because this is a true essence of leadership, where a conscious shift has been made from personal success to collective success, right? And that is the moment I just realized that leadership isn't just about delivering results. It's about being accountable, being responsible, because that 40% probably is a huge thing to lead in a global. So these are some few valuable insights that I can talk about leadership.
That's amazing. I think thank you so much for being so open and honest about your experience on this. And I really loved your thoughts and your experience that you have brought into it. So further to this, I have something more to explore on what would a leader, like as a leader, what would you say to other leaders who are facing the challenges today in balancing of organizational priorities and well-being? I think that's where there is a little challenges.
It's
today.
Always considered that balancing both is very challenging, but I would say they have to be codependent. It means to say both have to exist, where balancing organizational priorities with employee being is the key to the success of the organization, right? They are not opposing forces, but absolutely have to be codependent. Balancing both wouldn't mean compromising on any of the outcomes, right? There are times where you need to create that platform of modeling business and encouraging psychological safety within the employees. And all of these initiatives will have a trade-off that great leadership will be about navigating those trade-offs, with humanity and honesty. Right? So I think it's always a perception that we can only focus either on employee well-being or organizational priorities. But as a true HR professional, I think that's where we come into the picture and say that it has to exist. It cannot just exist in one.
Oh, that's absolutely, I cannot agree more. I really love that. Thank you so much for your insight on this point. As we are evolving with technology and culture, so what do you say about on how leaders must adapt to remain effective and thrive in the future?
I'm sure you and me agree that being in the profession of HR, every day is a learning. And, with so much of technology changes and work cultures evolving, we as HR professionals need to be on the constant run of learning. Right. And personally, if you are asking me as to how do we achieve that, I think what is the most important is staying curious. It's about keep learning. The minute you stop, or the moment you stop to think that I know it all, that's the junction where we all as HR professionals stop growing. So every day has to be a day of learning something that we haven't known about. Embracing the digital era, right? Today, it's all about technology, AI, doing our jobs, but HR is all about building that human connection, right? It cannot exist, with just digitally and without the aspect of human connection. So
Correct.
It's very easy to lose the human touch, right? The minute
Yes.
we talk about so many platforms for employees to interact with, but the day you stop that human connection, then the employee experience or the true sense of human resources gets lost. So I think while we embrace digital era, we need to still have a lot of human connection. Because that would help us foster psychological safety in our workplace, right? Otherwise people won't innovate if they fear failing. If you do not give them the platform saying that it's fine, go ahead, we are there. If it doesn't happen, we are there. That's something that needs to be strongly built by the leadership team or the organizational, heads of the company. You need to have that psychological safety very well built in and leading it with a purpose, not just a process. Correct. As we talk about it, every organization is evolving, so you need to have a purpose, and then the purpose is not limited just with leaders, but the entire team gets really absorbed into that larger purpose. That's when you see a better teamwork, more deliverables being given, and success to the organization. And all of this demands collaboration, right? Collaboration across our own boundaries, whether it's just limiting to HR or any other. So a lot of these traits will help us to be in touch with the evolving, work cultures and technology.
I really love that perspective. I think today the leaders thrive not just by controlling that outcomes or just by creating that bias or something. Sometimes some people wear masks, say in words, but sometimes not reflecting action. I think leaders thrive only by cultivating such human connection. I think they have to understand the people, they have to understand the teams. I think that starts from there, and being supportive and embracing the change. And you said keep learning. That's a very wonderful aspect here, because leaders also must evolve with the leadership skills. So very psychological safety. I think that's another wonderful output. Thank you so much, Ms. Malini. I think in a nutshell, leadership skills matters a lot. I think if we imagine if leadership is crumbling, it leads to burnout, and it leads to damages, and that damages everything for performance, loyalty, whatever it's been built from the long time, everything gets damages, and later it leads to a talent drain. So, in the bottom line, I think in leadership's development must prioritize on the balancing of organization and employees, and the career progression, crafting or charting of the growth for the people in our organization, and being honest, just not by only the words expressing, but also should reflect and leave it by the word in action. So, with that, I think we had a thoughtful, provoking conversations today. Amazing. I enjoyed it. A special thanks to you for sharing your insights on leadership's empathetic and that human connection. You also touched upon on learning and psychological safety as well. So, thank you so much, Ms. Malini.
Thank you, Ashwini. I really love your initiative on touching upon these points, which probably may not be in theoretical. So glad that you've started and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, we all know what is leadership. We all have the definition, but the effective leaders, what they do, how they manage their teams is what I have highlighted and stressed more in this episode. See, leadership matters a lot, but to prevent that burnout, to prevent that disaster, the effective leader has to carry certain approach. Like as my guest mentioned, that prioritizing of the people, prioritizing of psychological safety, fostering that growth, fostering inclusivity, belonging, fostering diversity, and how you treat them, how you are you treating everybody in the team equally, fairly. Are you embracing the innovation? Are you embracing the change, whatever the changes happens in an organization? So are you prioritizing on your effective communication? Are you communicating well with your team? So all these elements, ingredients matters a lot. So that is what I wanted to bring it here. So leadership is not just about the position or the title. As when we reach manager role, or as when we reach that higher role above that anything, it should not be just as that title. It should reflect and it should come in action as well. So that is what my intention to bring it in this episode of Two, that leadership through a human lens. So, if this episode's resonated with you, you know what you should do next, right? So please click on below subscribe button and share it in your contacts and connections and friends, colleagues, and everywhere. So that because this episode, a very pivotal and crucial and interesting one. So please share your thoughts as well on my YouTube channel comment box. Okay, and stay tuned for my next episode 3.